Welcome back to IGN Live from Gamescom 2018. It's time to take a look at a very cool, very interesting looking game. It's Beyond Blue, and Michael is here to tell us all about it. Welcome to the IGN stage.
Thanks for having us.
So this is an underwater exploration game, I think, but maybe you should sort of give us the gist in your own words.
Yeah, so the goal of this game is to help people learn a little bit about the natural world, learn about the role of scientists in the world, and have a lot of fun doing it. As a company, we think games can move people. We think they can speak to the human condition, and we think the real world's a magnificent place. And so we want to celebrate it with the way we make games.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started on this. Your last game was Never Alone.
Yes.
Right.
So,
which also deals with sort of real world.
Yeah, in that case, we had an opportunity to work together for a few years intimately with some folks from the Alaska Native culture. And we got to tell a story that had survived nearly 1,000 years in their culture through oral storytelling. And we brought it to life as an atmospheric platformer game called Never Alone. After we did that, actually, we got a call from BBC, who had seen Never Alone and was interested in the integration that we had with sort of the real-world themes into a narrative game, and approached us about the possibility of a partnership around an upcoming documentary series that they were working on called Blue Planet 2, which, of course, now has been released.
Of course,
much acclaim.
Big fan.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this is that players are going to be able to explore our real oceans, learn a little bit something along the way, but what's the game part of it? Where does that come in?
Yeah, so I mean, we want this to be a narrative-driven experience.
Yeah.
We've situated you here as this young woman, Mirai, who's a scientist. She's supported with a small crew of other scientists. We've set this a few years in the future, and the idea of doing that was we both have an opportunity to explore where the ocean might go in a few years. We're also, what we've been told by our scientists is that they expect a real explosion of discovery in the next 10 or 20 years because we're just getting to the point where we've got the technology that it takes to sort of crack this and get down there. And, you know, we'll have some scientists tell us that we know more about the surface of Mars than we do our own ocean. And so, you know, in talking to the scientists, we became as interested in sort of the role that scientists play in this sort of rapidly changing, complex world. And so I think the game will let you step in those shoes and both experience the sort of joy and wonder of exploring a new place, but also maybe make some morally complex decisions along the way and see what the result of all that is.
Okay, so if we're set in the near future, the technology that's being used in the game, some of it did you have to sort of make up yourself, or were you being sort of talking with scientists, being sort of, were they sort of like lending your hand?
Yeah, so I think, you know, all the technology you'll see are things that scientists are planning to use to do this type of exploration.
Okay.
You know, we may take a little bit of liberty with the time in which something's as good as this, but for instance, you just went past a communication buoy, which is kind of like an underwater Wi-Fi router, and that's what's allowing our particular game to have input that we're getting from our drones and our sensors feed to us in real time, as opposed to collecting that data a month later. Scientists are working on, now they have prototypes that work that way, so we're just going to take all that stuff and reduce the friction for you. And that's why we say near future, we're not that specific about time.
That's really interesting. So this could really be sort of a preview of Blue Planet 3.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, you know, we love the last episode of Blue Planet 2, which starts to look toward what some of the amazing opportunities and challenges are with our environment in the ocean, as well as the technology that's enabling the scientists to go after the issues that are important for a future. And so, again, there's a nice mix, I think, of joy and wonder and perhaps stakes and sorrow in our game. And, you know, we like games in which we get to make you laugh. We also, you know, want to make you face some difficult decisions. So
you're going for realism, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going for a dramatic version of that.
Okay.
I mean, we also want to have some fun. And so, you know, we learn about the essence of these creatures, and, you know, as you discover them, we want to present them in a way that, you know, delights you, that you can celebrate what has resulted in amazing adaptations over the last 10 million years. And so, you know, I hope that we're competitive with other narrative-driven experiences and ones that give you some level of flexibility to be curious and explore explore an environment and to tell stories through sort of environmental storytelling.
Well, so there's a term that's sort of arisen with certain games in recent years, walking simulators.
Yeah.
So is this a swimming simulator?
I think I mean, certainly there's a lot of swimming, there's a lot of droning, but I also think that we're trying to give you opportunities to deduce, to solve mysteries, to look in the world for clues. And so we're not going to try to challenge you through action mechanics. We want to challenge you through your decision making. We want to challenge you through your ability to piece together clues and progress through deduction.
So what's our mission right now that we're watching here?
So right now, I mean, we're early in the game. We in the game at this point, there's been a large group of sperm whales that have been amassing in a particular area of the ocean. It's super exciting for a scientist because it's more of that species than they've ever seen come together before, and they don't know why. We've lost the trail of them because we put a tag on one of those whales, and by doing that in the game, you now have a vantage point on that whale. So if you will, you can sort of be the whale because you've got a camera there, you've got a microphone there, and you can observe from the perspective of the whale. Unfortunately, it fell off, so we were just going into that cave to find that tag, trying to figure out how the tag got in the cave, and we found out because there was an octopus in there who must have gathered it up from where it fell on the seafloor. We got a little scare there.
And as we swim around, we're able to scan the sea life?
Yeah, so one of the core mechanics of the diver, and you've got to be able to approach the creatures in a way that doesn't drive them away. This level is pretty easy. The creatures are pretty friendly. And that scanning has a little bit of a progression to it. As you scan, you're gathering data about that creature, but that includes things like what species it is. Have I seen this creature before? Are we able to recognize it as an individual creature? If you will, think about having an AI in which all of your scans are feeding in. So once you see something for the first time, your drones are able to sort of point that out to you the next time. And so if we're really interested, as an example, in hunting behavior, and we know that sperm whales dive deeply to do that, we can get the diving behavior, and then the next time a drone sees the sperm whales diving, it's going to be a clue that we might want to pick up on that drone, take control of it, and then go over and follow the whales.
I see. Is this an open world game or this sort of like level based?
Yeah, it's not open world. I mean, it's much more level based. I mean, you open sections of the world about 1 kilometer squared. As you do that, some of those are contiguous, so you're growing an area that you become familiar with. Some of those are not contiguous, and we're taking you there because of the significantly different type of environment it is, or because the story in quest needs to take you there.
Yeah. So these are the sperm whales in question.
This is we finally caught up with them. We found our tag, and although it wasn't on the whale anymore, we were able to get the data off that tag. So it told us the last place it had been. So we were able to rush over. These guys are getting away from us. They're a little too fast. They're also coming back from hunting, so probably wouldn't be the best idea for us to go out in the middle of those huge creatures. But as you might have seen from that last line of dialogue, if we get back to our sub, we can take control of a drone, and then hopefully we'll have a drone in the area that they're going to, and we'll be able to pick up the action there.
Is the sub sort of like the hub for the game?
Yeah, it's sort of your safe spot.
Yeah.
So you're by yourself on the sub as Mirai, the scientist that is diving around. Your crew is situated on a vessel, and so most of the exploration you're doing in the region that you're covering, and you're covering it both from a diving perspective, and in the sub is where you can take control of your drones. And so, if you will, it kind of teleports you to wherever a drone is, and it gives you, over time, a way to get quickly to a place. The drones can also go in places that would be too harmful for humans or unsafe. They have some capabilities that humans don't have. We have a drone that's super small and nimble, and that's what allows you to humanely get the tags on the creatures that you need to sort of follow them.
So these different locations that we'll be visiting, are they spread out across the globe?
So they're all situated in the Pacific Ocean near Asia.
Okay.
A lot of the action takes place in the South China Sea. And we chose that area both because it has a lot of diversity in terms of the biomes and the type of creatures that you would meet there. But there's also a lot of human action in that area. It's one of the most, if not the busiest shipping area, for example. Right now, there's a little tension in the South China Sea. You've got some folks that are claiming sovereignty in different areas. So we like the biodiversity, but we also like the human diversity and the way that humans are interacting in that part of the world. We want to have some fun with that in 10 years.
I see. So in each of these areas that we'll be exploring, I assume you fill it with biological life that would be that would be found there in the real life?
Yeah, so we've chosen different areas, but we've tried to connect the journey along the way. And so each different depth that you experience, the different types of environments, a rocky seamount area versus one that is filled with coral and is teeming with life. We want to try to expose how different these different areas are as you go deep, but also different times of day. These areas act differently at night.
Yeah.
When the moon is full, you have creatures that come
Yeah.
hunting from the deep. And so some of these areas you'll get to explore many times, and you'll get to see how they change, either by anomalies that have changed the environment for a day or two,
Yeah.
or just the time of day.
So, like, how much randomness is going on? How much do you have to worry about a random predator
Yeah.
swimming along and interrupting your mission?
So, I mean, we don't. It's not a survival game. So, there's not threat of death to our diver.
Okay.
That being said, there is threat in the environment, and the diver are studying creatures that are natural predators of things. And so the way we use that is when our diver encounters that might become a blocker or a challenge to their progress, and then they've got to go back to the safety of their sub and either pick up that action later, or if possible, if they've got a drone in that area, they can go back, grab the drone, and maybe explore that with it. So we use it for sort of narrative flair and to try to affect the rhythm of the play.
Well, the game seems very cool. I'm looking forward to diving in. I think you've said it's coming. Yes. I think you said it's coming early 2019.
Yeah, spring 19 is where we're shooting for.
On what platforms?
PC and console.
Very cool. Michael, thank you so much for coming by and sharing Beyond Blue with us.
Awesome. It's a pleasure.
Yep.
Thanks.
Stay tuned. Still more to come from Gamescom 2018 on IGN Live after this.